Hi, Pastor Nathan Decker with your hashtag Better Together devotion for today. Every now and then there's a story in the Bible that really just shakes our understanding about the way things are and that we're used to as a normal and in our thought processes and tells us to think completely differently, to think beyond that, and to trust in God when we do so. So we've been talking about from yesterday the prophet Elijah. And in 1 Kings chapter 17, verses 8 and following, Elijah has to leave that little cave and that water, little creek, gets dried up finally. And the Lord tells him to go and to live with this widow in Sidon. He goes to Zarephath that belongs to Sidon, and he lives with the widow and her son. And she was just about to bake her last loaf of bread. She had just enough flour and just enough oil to bake one more loaf of bread. And she tells him as a prophet that she was going to do that. She was going to bake her last loaf of bread and then she was going to die. In other words, she has a very scarcity mentality. And Elijah the prophet shows up and asks her, could you bake me one first? Could you offer hospitality to me, a stranger, a Jew, someone you don't really like? Sidon's not a part of Israel. Somebody who's, completely an outsider. Can you show love to me and share with me? And in doing so, watch how God's abundance happens. And so she takes the risk. There was, after all, a prerogative in the ancient world that you were meant to give hospitality to strangers. The whole story about who knows, you might be entertaining angels unaware. That wasn't just something that Abraham dealt with, but that was a core value for the entire Middle Eastern area in the ancient world, this idea of hospitality. And so the widow shares what little she has, and what she finds is that she has enough. She has enough. One of the things that amazes me is that when I feel God's Spirit moving me to share of my resources, to share whether it's financial or time or simply to have a conversation with somebody I normally wouldn't, when I share what little I have, it's amazing to me how often that's more than enough. It carries Elijah and the widow and her son through the entire drought. This little cup of flour and this little cup of oil, they never run out. What if we depended on God? And what if we listened to God so deeply and shared what little we had, only to find that it was more than enough? Sometimes God blesses us so that we can be a blessing to others. Many times, God offers a solution to the hunger and to the poverty of this world within our own pocketbooks, within our own ability of taking time to befriend and grow other human beings, to help them grow into who they fully can be, out of debt, out of the poverty that they're in. It takes relationships, it takes time, it takes finances, it takes us being willing to share what little we have and find that it's more than enough. As you pray today, I invite you to invite God into your generosity and to say, God, I have this. It's not much, but I'm willing to share. So, God, lead me. Lead me to share so that I find that it's more than enough. Amen.